Good day, Pinoy Clicksers and Mixers. We are here to talk about one very basic question. Is bigger better? Let's jump ahead. Okay, so as you can see here, I have two figures that are very similar in terms of scope. Okay, one is limited edition M17005, and the other one is from the newer set House of X. Okay, so the scale is the only difference. They have the same sculpt. Okay, so these are what we call the older figures. Okay, and this one, starting with the House of X, if I'm not mistaken, WizKids has scaled and made the sculpt bigger. Okay, so the reason is, of course, so that more details can be placed. Okay, so you can see the paint is brighter, there's bigger effects, and then the details would be a little bit more visible. Okay, take a look at the hair, for example. Okay, so I'm all for it. The bigger the scope is better for me in terms of actual gameplay. It's nice to put big figures in the map. Okay, so you really see it, and it really would look intimidating, especially if you're using characters like Juggernaut, etc. So you want them to be really big on the map. Okay, but the only problem, of course, the downside is storing big figures. Okay, so although I think the difference here would just be around less than even quarter of an inch. Okay, but I think that makes a lot of difference when it comes to storage. Okay, so you can also see the platform here. It's flat, and then this one, it's a bit elevated. So that adds to the size of the figures. Okay, so good for play, but unfortunately, it poses a problem for storage. So this is what I usually use for storage. So you can see here, I have some the newer sets, which are House of X and not Empire, Rise and Fall. Okay, so I usually order it by set, that one complete case like this would cover the entire set. Okay, and you can see that there are dividers. Okay, so there are dividers that you can move, and typically with the smaller scale, I would just place one figure per slot. Okay, and that's still possible for some figures like this one from the House of X, Black Tom. Cassidy is a small figure. Okay, so I can just put him standing up, and that would be a great way to store Black Tom or something like this. Okay, so he takes up just the right amount of space. But the problem happens when you have figures that are too big to be placed on one cell. Okay, even though diagonal, it's still impossible. Okay, because this means you either dedicate two cells for that particular figure, or like what I do here, I put two figures together like this. Okay, this is Sorn, by the way. This is Sorn and Sorn Prime. Okay, so I put them side by side. Okay, so that technically each occupies one cell. Okay, so take a look at another example here, Mr. Sinister and his clones. Okay, so that's good, primarily because they are thematic, Sinisters and Sorns. Okay, but the problem happens when you have like figures and Storm and Cable here. Okay, Cable, I think almost can fit, but the sword is getting in the way. So I have to really stack them or store them. And again, they cannot just fit two, because two would just might have the possibility of them damaging the effect. So I really have to dedicate 3 slots for it. Okay. So, and again, this would mean that whereas before, I'm able to fill up, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 times 4, 28 figures in one of these cases. Now, I'm only able to store less than that, definitely. Okay, so this means I have to buy more of this, and this means it will occupy more space for storage. So, that's the setback for the bigger scale. Okay, and this is true for all of the sets. So again, this is another, I think, House of X. Okay, so usually I only use one, but in this case, because it occupies a lot of space, I have to use 2. Okay, Polaris actually goes here, so this is still okay because it fits on one. Okay, but definitely Glob Herman won't fit. Okay, and Iceman even won't fit here. Okay, so the effect gets in the way. So again, it's okay for some figures to be really big as necessary, but there are some figures that I feel could just be a little bit smaller. Okay, like this Bishop. Okay, almost fit, but again, a part of his head hits the divider. So I have to really, again, store him side by side with Shard. Okay, so I hope you get the point. And of course, not just sharing this problem, but of course we have to present a solution to the problem. And if the problem is scale getting bigger, then it goes without saying, or logically, that we should get bigger storage. And that's exactly what I am trying out. Okay, so I have this one. So this is just a bigger storage. So you can see, let's put them side by side. Okay, so it's a bigger storage, and it only has 4 big dividers. You can see here. Okay, and what I did, just to add a little more flavor to it, is I cut off the booster. Okay, let's say for example, this is the House of X, Rise and Fall, and Empire. Okay, so I cut off the booster and then use it as a display for the dividers. So what I'll probably do is put the bigger figures here, or just cluster them all together. Okay, and then just keep in the old storage the ones that I really like. Okay, mostly X-Men heroes, and then this will be villains or other sub-teams like Starjammers and whatnot. Okay, so, and still it was perfect that the booster size in a sense fit the dividers. Okay, so this is also good because you can also store colossals in this particular storage. Okay, you can even store something like, if you have a figure protector, them just standing up, and then you can just stack them like so. Okay, so again, not your typical solution, but again, we have to find ways to store properly our HeroClix. So again, it's almost the size of 2 of this. Okay, but this is cheaper. And again, you can put commons and uncommons since they're not gonna be as expensive. So you can just put it here. The more expensive ones, you can probably put on your on a different storage, like what I do. Okay, so just showing to you guys before we wrap up this video. These are my Empire collection. Okay, not Empire, Rise and Fall. Why am I always saying Empire? So Rise and Fall collection. And again, Deadpool, of course, naturally would occupy 2 space, but figures like, again, this Shi'ar figure, Eric the Red, okay, fortunately cannot fit on one, so again, has to be stored sideways. So he's gonna be a prime candidate to be moved to the new storage. Okay, and finally, the last one here from Empire, from Rise and Fall. Okay, so we have here Chod, again, Chod is big, so this is okay. But again, it's up a lot of space. Moira, McTaggart, okay, also too big to fit on a single cell. So she could have been a little bit smaller to fit. Okay, but anyway, it is what it is. So I hope you learned a little something. And if you have other storage options, okay, please tell me, because I'm really looking forward to see how you safeguard your HeroClix. So bye-bye, keep safe, and until the next video.